In this video, I'm going to be talking about women in art of the Romanticism era. Throughout history, female artists were often overshadowed by men of the industry who grew in success and status, often without barrier. A lot of these women's stories have been lost throughout time and ultimately forgotten. Some of these artists include Antoine Cecil Hodder Lescott, Adelaide Labille Gouliard, and Marguerite Girard. Today, I want to discuss Marguerite Girard and her works in relevance to the theme of Romanticism. According to Gateways to Art, Romanticism was a movement in 19th century European culture that emphasized the power of imagination and value of intense feeling. Many of these artists emphasized emotion over logic when it came to art. Born in France in 1761, Marguerite Girard was the sister of 6 siblings. The French artist moved in with her sister Marianne when her mother died in 1775. She was taught everything she knew about art by her sister's husband, John Honor Fragonard, who owned a successful studio. Together they created many artworks that resembled the style of 17th century Dutch masters and included etching pieces. Fragonard collaborated with Marguerite on many artworks from the age of 17. Referencing a digital encyclopedia called Towards Emancipation, Fragonard helped give Marguerite her leg up in the industry. Being a woman at this time in history, limited opportunities and lack of equality would have held her back from becoming a successful artist and recognized for her talent if it weren't for the help of her brother-in-law. By her 20s, she started to create her own self-renowned works as she grew in her skill and painting technique. Now I will begin to show you some famous art done by this artist. This artwork highlighted here is titled The Cat's Lunch, which was created using oil and canvas. This 19th century piece displays a woman generously feeding a cat milk while a dog watches closely in envy. It was very common for Marguerite to include the odd pairing of dogs and cats together in paintings. The woman feeding the cat, presumed to be its owner, seems oblivious to the fact that the dog is eyeing her meal, and in doing so, presents a sort of innocence in her expression. Overall, this painting carries a soft and light-hearted tone. This artwork is titled The Interesting Student, another one of Marguerite's famous works. This was done as an oil painting and was the result of a collaboration between her and her apprentice and brother-in-law, Fragonard. It displays a student studying a piece of art in a cluttered room filled with sculptures and furniture. This is another artwork of hers that includes a duo of a dog and a cat. If you look closely in this painting, a cat is swatting a dog from underneath a stool where the dog is seated. Similar to the previous work, the subject is unbothered by the animals and is rather focused on the work of art in front of her. This artwork is titled The Stolen Kiss, done with oil on canvas. It depicts a woman being kissed on the cheek by a man through a nearby door. This painting sends a clear message to the audience about the time period it was created in and is a real ode to Romanticism. It depicts particular emotion and hints at underlying themes. The kiss that occurs between the two subjects looks as if it is done quickly and quietly so that the subject does not get caught. The woman looks the other way to make sure no one sees their quick display of affection. That would have been deemed inappropriate if they were not married at the time. It gives a playful and sensual tone for the artwork and hints at the pressure of modesty. This artwork is called The Song. It was another artwork of Marguerite's that depicts a more progressive scene. A woman is stood next to a man who is cradling her arm as she reads a paper with other women sitting with them, likely their friends. In Marguerite's paintings, women were often shown reading some sort of written material from books to newspapers. As explained in the article called Forbidden Fruit, women in books were often a very common duo in art history. This image gives a heaven-like feel with the feathery and cloudy background. The hat thrown on the floor tells the audience that the man is a soldier. The soldier's hat is symbolic of the affection between the man and the woman. At the moment, he is not a soldier, but instead just a man. Marguerite Girard was a successful painter of the Romanticism era and is one of the leading women in art history of the late 18th and early 19th century. Romanticism was an important era that, according to Romanticism by Leon Rosenthal, sparked changing minds. It made large impacts on how art was created and what it gave to the audience emotionally. Marguerite is one of many women who were successful in this iconic time of art that continue to be left out of art history textbooks and eras.